easier to grab attention in conversation, especially in groups. But there is another way you can do this: active speaking. Sync hand gestures with your words. Watch this clip of Chris to see what this looks like.
It's a high-pitched, fast-paced play, so there's no breaks, and our director was constantly no breaks. And then finally there's a pause. And then in this pause, I'm looking at the woman that I'm in love with, and we're gonna reconcile, and it's this moment of tremendous drama. And then from just stage left, you hear, "Louder, please."
Good hand gestures aren't random movements. You want to accent what you're saying. For a great example, watch Chris talk about learning the Scottish accent for his movie Outlaw King.
Look at it like a record, and you're building grooves into the record. So once you put the note on the record, your brain and your mouth, because you've done it so many times, just play the record.
Purposefully using hand gestures also gives your hands something to do, which naturally cuts down on nervous fidgeting, making you look and feel more confident. One other thing you'll notice when Chris talks, he smiles with his eyes and speaks through a smile, which primes people to smile and laugh with you.
And then I got chased down the street by a large...
You got chased down the street?
By a large man wearing a sock around his...
Really? So wait, let's
shouting Captain Kirk as he was...
Smiling as you speak also naturally changes your vocal tone in a positive way, so even if you're just having a phone call, you can make a better impression if you smile before you speak. This is why salespeople have the phrase smile and dial. Notice in this next clip how the audience laughs when Chris starts to smile with his eyes and get more animated with his face.
What is it like to play a superhero's boyfriend? You don't see that very much.
It's great.
Do you have powers?
None.
Oh.
Absolutely none.
One thing today's video will hopefully make clear: just because someone speaks quietly doesn't mean they're boring. Just listen to Gal Gadot describe what it's like to work with Chris.
That was the dynamic, right? Yeah. I'm being the serious one, and then he makes fun out of me.
And then she talks like goofy.
And then we laugh. So it was a pretty easy task.
That playfulness is especially important in the first few minutes of your conversation because people have a heavy first impression bias. They form their first opinions about you in the first minute or two, and those first opinions can be very sticky. So in social settings, try to be playful and fun in the first few minutes of meeting someone. You don't have to have a great stand-up comedy set to open a conversation. Any playfulness at all can help set a more positive tone.
All right. I got my notes here.
Yeah, your glasses. There you go. You look the part, Chris. There, you're on it. You look like
old enough for those glasses.
I've always wanted to do that.
If being playful seems intimidating, you can also simply lead with a little more energy and enthusiasm.
I have this long hair now. I feel really
Yeah, you're like a young Kenny Rogers. It's really...
Many quiet people do the opposite of this. They begin overly serious and low energy, and by the time they start being playful in a conversation, the other person has already made up their mind about them. Now, while speaking through a smile and being playful help you leave a positive first impression, the mirror of this is also true. You can make people like you simply by being a likable listener who laughs easily. You'll make the other person feel good and they'll enjoy speaking to you. Notice in this next clip how Chris can make co-star Gal Gadot laugh just by laughing himself.
The Mascarian part was shot in Italy, which was amazing and beautiful and tasty. And I'm telling about the experience.
It's a great adjective. I like it. It's tasty.
It was saltier.
Compare that to this next clip of Chris where he doesn't smile, laugh, or speak with his hands. If this were the only clip you'd ever seen of Chris, what would your impression of him be?
Honor roll or detention hall?
What do you think?
Honor roll or detention hall? I think honor roll.
There it is.
Chris Pine, would you rather do an impression or tell a joke?
Oh, an impression. Go on, do the impression. Let's get it out. Yeah, do it.
One important caveat here, your goal is not to fake laugh. The goal is to laugh freely whenever you do find something funny. Unfortunately, many people unconsciously limit their laughter, repressing it to a quick chuckle or even just an exhale. The good news if you are someone who struggles to laugh is that laughing is a habit and it gets easier the more you do it. So one trick if you want to laugh more easily, watch something you know will make you laugh right before going out. This will prime you to be in a better state and to laugh more in conversation. Ultimately, the goal is to be confident enough to show your genuine emotional reaction. In Chris's case, he does not force himself to laugh with a group every time they laugh.
2 new cast members, so hilariously, effortlessly.
We were terrified.
But if Chris does find something funny, he definitely lets it show.
Summer break.
Well, actually, something.
We got into this with so much ambitious, and I think the movie is... Why are you laughing?
I was hoping
אני
that...
פשוט אדבר בעברית, כי אז יבינו אותי יותר.
I was hoping Chris wouldn't have a reaction.
It shows confidence if you're willing to show your genuine reaction even when it makes you stand out from the people around you. There's one more trick you can use to make people like you without you needing to do much talking. Ask energizing questions. A question is energizing if it's open-ended, meaning not a one-word answer, and about a topic that excites the other person. This next clip is a great, easy example. Graham Norton asks Sally Fields a question about her memoir that leaves her a little tongue-tied. So Chris asks her a question she's more excited to answer.
There's so many personal things in here.
Yeah.
And I understand the urge to figure it out in your head and to write it down. But it is weird that then, like, yobs like me can know it. And, you know, people will read this and know these things about you.
Yeah. That is.
What compelled you to write it?
While today's video has hopefully shown you that you can be charismatic even if you're quiet, there are a few times when even the quietest person would benefit from being a bit louder. One time this is helpful is in very loud environment settings like parties. And another is when someone cuts you off. When someone tries to speak over you, it can be helpful to raise your voice to recapture attention. But once you've recaptured attention, you can return to your quieter, more natural speaking voice. For example, listen to Chris talking to Jimmy Kimmel about the time a supposed fan confused him with multiple other celebrities.
It's a weird one.
Not quite. But thank you. I'm sure I'm going to remember that for the rest of my life.
Well, at least he's a handsome guy, I
And
guess.
then he said, so then he said, he stopped me. He's like, Joey Lawrence. I said, no, thank you, no. He's like, come on, man, tell me, who are you? Who are you? And I was like, Chris Evans, Captain America.